My job instills fear in the hearts of millions. I am a math professor. Now, I'm not here to quiz you. I promise there's no math involved. But I do hope you'll learn something. I want to share with you the characteristics I look for in my dream students, in my favorite students. Now, I know we're not supposed to have favorites, but come on. We all do. My favorite students aren't the ones who get all A's. They aren't the ones who have all the right answers. What I look for are students who show up, pay attention, strive to become better, and push me to be a better educator. I'm excited to share with you that I have found this group of students, and I've been working with them for over 2 years. They may just look a little different than you're expecting. My favorite students are incarcerated. It was a gray January morning when I first arrived at the prison. The moisture in the air brought the cold deeper and deeper into my bones. Was I shivering or was I shaking? I was cold, I was nervous, and I was a little scared. I was willingly entering a place that no one wanted to be. And my first and most pressing concern was that I wouldn't be let in. Had I done everything right to make it through security? Did my outfit pass a strict dress code? I enter the prison under the watchful eye of the guard tower. I am searched and scanned. I sign in, scan my ID, show my ID. I'm handed a body alarm, affectionately called a screamer. Scan my ID again and enter the airlock. I show my ID for a final time and enter the yard. An acre and a half of dry, brittle grass lay before me with snaking sidewalks that appear to have been an afterthought. To the left of me are 4 large cream brick houses with tiny barred windows, each separated by barbed wire and a guard stationed outside each one. In front of me is what appears to be an abandoned strip mall that I later learned contains the cafeteria, library, laundry, GED school, and my final destination, the education wing. I enter my classroom, and I'm being watched through a camera aimed directly at my whiteboard by the CO in the next room. I begin to set up my classroom and learn 21 new names as quickly as possible. Today is the first day of a new semester, and I am normally so excited, but today I was more nervous. This was different. These students were different. But it would take me time to realize not just how truly different, but remarkable they were. My favorite students are incarcerated. In prison, every hour on the hour is movement. The only time incarcerated persons can move about the prison. At 8 a.m., my students came into the classroom boisterously. A group of men aged 26 to 68, all in matching khaki jumpsuits given to them by the DOC, all with a college algebra textbook in hand and excited to meet a new professor. Once I saw their faces, learned their names, got a smile, the nerves were gone and only excitement remained. I was excited to share something I love with others. My favorite students are incarcerated. Outside of prison, I teach at one of the top universities in the United States. I am a math professor. I teach the class that you have to take. You don't want to, you have to. I know this. I'm not naive. So I try my best to make my class as approachable and engaging as possible, doing things I cannot do out in prison. We have polynomial division relay races and graphing Olympics. We play factoring bingo. It's good. But these classes outside of prison, silence, crickets. No questions are being asked. No one answers when I ask the question. Sometimes the silence can be draining. In prison, my classroom is vibrant. It is full of voices sharing connections I had never made before. Everyone has a question they're not afraid to ask, and everyone has an answer that they will shout confidently, even when they're wrong. Outside of prison, I teach some of the most privileged students in America, and my favorite students are incarcerated. My favorite students want to be PhD astronomers, engineers, computer scientists, and poets. My favorite students want to revitalize their neighborhoods, save the planet, and inspire others. My favorite students are incarcerated. In prison, my class is made up of entirely non-traditional students. Some have been in prison since before I was born. Many of them did not graduate high school and completed their GED while incarcerated. This is where I can relate. I did not graduate high school. I dropped out my junior year, got my GED 2 years later, and 3 years later, finally enrolled in college full-time. Thank you. Now I, a non-traditional student who was finishing her doctorate, -1, was teaching a class of entirely non-traditional students. This was the first of many classes I would teach in prison. I often get teased that I smile too much when I'm in prison by COs and the students. They're like, "You're too happy." I'm just happy to see some of my favorite people. Since then, a few of my students have been released. I have got to meet them for coffee, watch them grow, and take their knowledge with them. Many of my students have graduated. Some have a date set. They know when they're getting out. I imagine that they are a mixture of nerves and excitement to enter an outside world that has changed around them. But they have changed too. Horace Mann said that education, then, beyond all other devices of human origin, is the great equalizer of men. That has never been more true than for my justice-impacted students. This semester, for the first time, I'm teaching in a women's prison. This is the inaugural cohort, meaning that now 100% of women prisons in Missouri have access to quality in-person higher education. Currently, there are over 370 prison education programs across the United States, supporting associate's degrees through master's degrees for incarcerated men and women. The work is not for everyone, but if you'd like to get involved, I'd love to introduce you to my favorite students. Thank you.